When I typically do my layouts, I like to use the layout function, which is by clicking on the little plus sign here, and you can create a new layout, as you can see here. This is in Rhino V5. So typically I would create layouts using this methodology, and you can see you can build as many different layouts as you want by clicking the plus sign. So I've already explained in my Rhino V5 tutorials how to do these layouts, and if you haven't watched it, I invite you to do so. And before Rhino 5, there was another way of doing it. So if I click back on the perspective tab and I go, for example, in the perspective viewport, and I select this object here, which is a very simple object, by the way. And I used to do layouts with Rhino V4 and V3 and previous version by going under the project function. And I've explained that in the tutorials as well. There was a function called Make2D. So if I clicked on Make2D and I want to have for viewport for projections, and then we'll click OK, and it would project the objects as you can see here. Okay, so you have two different ways of doing layouts, and as you can see, if I selected here, you have some missing lines, okay, and it wasn't perfect. Still, I think it did a much better job than CATIA V5, for example. So the lines were cleaner. So it would have to add some more lines by using my 2D functions, and then export into Illustrator and do my renderings, my illustrations using either Photoshop or Adobe Illustrator. Okay, and you can see that the Make2D isn't perfect, and it was missing a couple of lines, but you know, it was easy to fix and all that stuff. But if you got into more complex geometries, it would be it would take you a bit longer time and to fix it, but still, you know, sometimes I would use it. But since Rhino V5, I started using more and more the layouts, and I recommend you do it like this because it's much cleaner, it's much faster, and it's just fine like, as it is. Now V6. This is V6 platform now, okay, and I'm going to use the same geometry that I've done for the renderings, and I want to show you. So I want to show you that you can still create the new layout like I typically do, you know, so that's not an issue. But I wanted to show you how Make2D has greatly improved. It's a pretty darn good job they've done in improving the Make2D, and you can export to do 2D illustrations using the Make2D function. So again, you just select the whole geometry, and you go again under the project curves, and I'm just gonna expand my toolbar, and here it is. It's the same icon, it's in the same area, it's under the curve from object toolbars, and you just click on that. So the menu has slightly changed, okay, so it says view perspective, and you can type the type of projection. So third angle projection, there's one that is called ANSI, and the other one is ISO projection. So I'm just going to use the third angle projection, and you can see that it's going to do a projection from the front, the top, and the side view, and it also gave you a perspective view. Okay, there's another function that a couple of options that I like also. You can have the tangent edges to be shown or not if you want. And I like the one which is called Scene Silhouette. So if you check on check, you can see that all the silhouette lines are going to be bold. Okay, and this is great for doing 2D illustrations. So I like to have this option checked, and the rest I just leave it as is, and I click on OK. So I've already done a Make2D projection out of this because it's taking like about 3 minutes or 2 minutes to do each view. So it's going to project the top view, the front view, the side view, and the perspective view one by one. And it took about 2 to 3 minutes, and I must say it's very quick. This object is much more complicated than the previous ones. So for simpler objects, it's going to go much faster in a fraction of seconds, I guess. But in this case, it took a bit longer, and it was okay. I mean, it was just like 1 or 2 minutes, 2 minutes and a half, and that was fine. So it would project one by one. I'm not going to click OK because I've already done the projection, and it's going to create 2 layers. One called Make2D, as you can see here. I've hidden it purposely, and under the Make2D you've got the visible and the hidden lines. So if I click on the light bulb just to show you the projections, and I just zoom out, and typically when you're doing a Make2D, it's going to project on the top viewport. Okay, so I have to switch to the top viewport, deselect my 3D geometry. I can even hide it if I want, and if I zoom in, you can see that it did a pretty good job. Now, I included in my options to have the hidden lines. So that's why you see all the dashed lines. So I could have avoided that, but it does a very clean job of doing a very nice Make2D. Let me press F7 just to remove the grid and see it better like this. So you can see how it did very, very clean lines. And I'm very happy about this function, and I invite you to try it out for yourselves. Okay, so this is the Make2D function. All right, thank you.